My guest for the morning, Dr. Clement Apak, is the Member of Parliament for Busa South. Emmanuel Chamantinge Jakun is the MP for Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency. All in the studio already. I should think they are great acquaintance in Parliament. And so today, you gentlemen will be going to Parliament, won't you?
Yes.
And yesterday, the Finance Minister appeared.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, very interesting.
But he didn't give us the information we requested. Anyway, are we on the roll already?
Yes.
Well, good
so
morning.
Just the normal fraternal.
Good morning, my good friend Walker.
Thank you.
Good morning, my colleague. We always agree to disagree.
Yes, it's
Your
fine.
It looks like the rest of the system is beginning to pair us at different levels, which is good. Thanks to you.
Yeah.
And led to all the constituents of Busa South, my constituency. I greet them. Mateba Soliwa, Kanebika Dr. Pak, Nanya Joa News TV, Damina, Nyajankadoa. You know what I said? I'm advertising your station to them.
Oh, that's good.
They should always be watching.
We're very popular in the north, I'll tell you, from Tamale right up
very well
to the border. And the finance minister appeared before the House.
Yes.
And since
It's their call.
Since you made a call for him to appear, you should be satisfied. I think that I listened to him. He was very emphatic. And
I do have the other paper from yesterday.
And it was quite interesting. Wow, you came well prepared.
Well,
so your initial comments on this?
Well, thank you, Roland. Again, let me say good morning to viewers across regional and national boundaries. Indeed, it is the case that the finance minister responded to an invitation by the Speaker of Parliament to come and answer a question which had been submitted in the form of a motion by the Deputy Minority Leader. And I think that for the purposes of our discussion, it's important that I read the caption on the basis of which the minister gave his presentation to the August House yesterday. And I'm reading from the other paper for Wednesday, the 7th of June, item 4 under statements. It says, and this is the way it was captured, Minister for Finance to provide detailed information on the recent $2,250 million United States dollars, into brackets, the figure, bond, including the full complement, and I emphasize, keyword, complement, keyword, full complement of documentation related to the issuance, the particulars, and the utilization of the proceeds and the currency in which the bond was settled in response to the half-hour motion moved by the Honorable Minority Leader on Wednesday, 31st May 2017. So this is the guiding principle, if you like, the background. So, of course, he had to come and answer. But were we satisfied with what he told us? No. Did he answer the specific questions that we posed? No. Did he give us a full complement of the documentation relating to the bond? Certainly not. So essentially, the finance minister came and told us what he wanted to tell us. And he spent most of the time not just in the form of salutations and recognitions, but to also lecture us, quote unquote, about the processes that the bidding for bonds go through. We all know that. It's public knowledge. You just have to go to the Bank of Ghana website and download. I mean, everyone knows. That is not why we invited him. Look, for example, they made references to how the bidding was open. And we had always had issues with how the bidding was open, for how long the auction went on, and even the participants. They didn't give us any information about, you know, the bidding process. He made references to an email. You would have expected that we would have seen a copy of that email so that we can verify the time.
It's not an investigative body, is it?
No, we requested.
You didn't call him to the plenary.
But we requested. And all of these are documentations that pertain, because we need to know. One of the arguments that we have made to justify what we believe is a conflict of interest, and the fact that this was not done in an open, transparent manner, has to do with the timing itself. The time the bidding was open and the time bidding was closed. So how do we cross-check that if we don't get the said email that supposedly was the tool that was used in opening the bidding? So that has not been provided, and that is very important. The other area that, you know, we thought...
So taking his word for it was not enough for you?
How can that be enough?
That is what I'm asking.
It certainly is not enough. We need
summoning or asking him to appear before the House, the plenary, was it for investigative purposes? And as a body, are you an investigative arm?
We have that capacity.
Thirdly, are you undertaking an investigation?
Parliament as a body, if the Speaker decides, certainly...
No, we're talking about this instance.
No. We didn't invite him to even come and do a presentation.
Great.
If you look at the content of what I read, which is the thrust of the motion, the full complement, he could have simply brought the documents, handed them over, and didn't have to make a statement. So he chose to make.
And you would have been just satisfied?
We would have cross-checked and we would ask our questions. We are more interested in the documentation, because essentially what he came to say yesterday was a lot more like setting his own questions and answering them. He didn't answer the questions we sought to verify.
That sentence,
and for example,
sentence or that refrain that I've heard since yesterday evening. What do you mean by that? He came to set his own questions,
yes,
and then answer them.
Because what we asked, he has not supplied. So he came to tell us about how bonds are floated, who is the runners, and we know all of those things. We wanted to know the participating...
The specifics.
The specific participants.
You feel that he didn't deal with the specifics?
He didn't. You know, and to be honest, something is going on.
Do you feel that you were just bullied?
No. I feel that he just came to tell what he wanted to say, which is not different from what he has been saying. And that is why we thought that this...
What were you expecting?
For him to comply with the request. Right. I mean, it's as simple as that. So essentially...
But once the Speaker didn't raise any sort of perhaps differing view...
Well, as a matter of fact, before he even spoke, this was, you know, soon after we raised issues also about the President not being in the country and not formally informing Parliament, which is another subject area that hopefully we'll touch upon.
Has the President gone on holidays?
Yeah, he's out of the country. And we hadn't received communication as of when sitting began.
I'm asking, is the President gone on holidays?
He's out of the... Anytime the President leaves...
No, but the President has been going on trips to ECOWAS, etc. Does he always have to inform you?
Let me tell you, Walker, we have a constitution. It has requirements. It is required that when the President is leaving this jurisdiction called Ghana...
The territory.
Yes. He is required to inform Parliament in writing, prior, not during, not after.
That's not the subject for discussion.
No, but I'm saying, so it's very important. You know, we should know where our President is and what he's doing.
Well, that's
very good.
You just introduced a new topic for me.
No, but
unfortunately, you're not my producer.
It has to do with governance, right?
It's rumbling.
It has to do with governance. You understand? The point of bringing this in is that government seems to believe that they choose and decide if and when we should have access to information. This is what is happening. We ask you to give us information, and you come, you don't provide a full complement. You come and tell us a whole long story. That is not the purpose of which he was invited.
We'll come to the specifics of what he said and all that. But your own general observations about the reactions of the minority, and thereafter what even the minister came to say before the House?
Well, good morning to you and good morning to my esteemed colleague, Clement Park, Dr. Clement Park. I must add, Doctor is hard-earned. And to viewers, I'm happy to be here this morning, and I want to say a very good morning, most especially to my constituents, and wish the 1,421 of our children who are writing BEC within my constituency. I want to wish all of them.
Did you give them assets?
I did give them assets. From here, I'll go to see them, and tomorrow when they finish, we will have a little refreshment for all of them. They are very dear to all of us. A bond was issued to resolve a problem. See, first and foremost, let me state that we didn't go to borrow money. A government that was before us had gone ahead and recklessly borrowed money, recklessly. Had taken our debt overhang from 9 billion to 122 billion. This country was stifling.
I'm going to restrain myself.
This country was stifling. Okay. There was no fiscal space for anything to be done. And then a government comes in and decides that they will do a couple of things. Indeed, Roland, I want to state categorically that in the budget statement that was presented in March, the way the Akufo-Addo government intended to deal with this were all clearly stated. Okay? So one of the options that was left was to sort of refinance debt. Okay. This government had crowded this country with short-term 91-day, 182-day at 26, 27%. Short-term, which was just suffocating us. So this government decided that we will need to reprofile, we will need to change the tenure and issued a bond that in the aggregate has saved this country over 600 million cedis in interest payments, has created some space for us to breathe, so that we can complete the secondary school in Fumbisi. We can tar the road.
Completed.
Oh, it has? Okay. But we can do something.
Oh, a lot.
We can do a lot of things.
We can do a lot. We don't say don't borrow. We want to know how.
The Tono and the Via irrigation and all, Fumbisi Valley irrigation can all, that is all almost become out of use.
Actually, they are there. They are very active.
Okay. But can be improved.
I agree.
All right. If you don't have fiscal space, you can't do all of these things. Somebody has created a problem. You want to go around the problem so that you can breathe and let the good people of this country have the dividend of democracy, enjoy the dividend of democracy. And that is exactly what we did. You see, what we want to establish, let's not, the NDC attempt to put out that we have borrowed money. No, we have not borrowed money. We have only refinanced their borrowing. You see, you used to borrow at 24%, 25%, 26%. We come and we reduce the rate to 19. And save this country some money and some space. For me, these are the critical things that we must be talking about. Number two, as consequence, benefits out of that action that was taken. Today, the bond rates, the coupon rate on the 91 days is gotten to about 12 or 13. Inflation is coming down. Interest rates, the Bank of Ghana, the monetary MPC reduced it by 200 percentage points. Our currency is stabilizing. At least business people can plan and work properly. These are the consequences of the actions that are taken. Number one, we have created some space, some fiscal space. Number two, it has had consequences on interest that government pays.
Substantive of the finance minister coming to Parliament.
Pardon?
You're talking about the rationale for going for the 2
Yes.
But the minorities seem to have, they are
But
having,
you
they are having
see,
difficulty with the processes
That
that
is
way.
all.
And you see, this is what he said. The finance minister wanted to contextualize this. He was telling you that what is different from what you used to do.
That nothing until what happened.
I think that the minister was emphatic. What is different? You claim conflict of interest. You claim something has happened. The finance minister went into the history and said in 2015, when he wanted to do this, it was the same processes, the same book runners. Barclays Bank, Stanbic Bank.
When you are done, I'll have my response.
Barclays Bank, Stanbic Bank, SAS. Same processes. Okay. Today, and the interesting thing is that in that time, 90% of the long-term bonds was bought by a gentleman, quote unquote, a gentleman like they want Ghanaians to believe, a gentleman who carried the money called Frank Templeton. He was the minister was at pains to tell them that Frank Templeton is not a man.
It's an organization.
Yeah. Okay. What has changed? The only thing that has changed is that instead of you, as late as I think November or July 2016, when you borrowed money at 25%, today we have been able to reprofile, refinance at 19%.
Giving you time. That's
Giving
what
us
that's what the economists call space.
Giving us space so that
Because
this country
within that period you can
breathe.
do some other things.
You know, the other thing that they talk about is Dr. Park, when he finished, are you aware or you are not aware that he left documentation at the table office?
We saw some of those documents already.
You have not even interrogated the
We
thing.
know, we
You
have.
have not seen the thing.
Our leader had those documents before proceedings
You
began.
have not seen the thing. And then
How
you are
else-
complaining
how
that
else did we make the submissions that we made on the floor of Parliament if our lead team on this issue, including our minority leader, didn't have knowledge of what he presented? They did. It's the rest of us who didn't have access. And the statements I am making in challenging the content of what the minister said is based on the issues that our side raised on the floor of
It's
Parliament.
okay,
what
granted.
issues did you raise?
You were there yesterday.
What issues?
And I've
you
raised
see,
some of
you
them.
keep
It's
talking
okay,
about
please.
documentation. The minister was at pains to tell you. After all, what is a bond? Government needs some money. Government appoints a transaction advisor to deal directly with the markets. The Bank of Ghana is there. Everything that happens, there's a documentation at the Bank of Ghana. The transaction, that is why government does not do it itself. Government appoints a transaction advisor. There were transaction advisors in this matter.
And that's it.
There's Barclays Bank, yes. There's SAS, there's Barclays Bank, there's Stanbic Bank. So if there is any documentation, obviously, all of these would be available.
But
You talk about time. Let's look at, see, what is important is to establish, was a law broken in the process? What is important is to establish. Let Dr. Clement Apak and the NDC tell us, did government or did the transaction advisor or did Bank of Ghana break the law in the process?
Well, we are here to find out.
Yeah. So
This is
what
why
is
we
all
are
of this?
we are asking for
What
the
is
full
all of this
complement.
noise? In any case, you are taking the matter to the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yes.
Yeah, It's okay.
of the US.
No, yes, nobody is running away from anything. You ask the minister to come, the minister came. Indeed, yesterday, I was very happy about the contribution, the chairman of the finance. He said that he will not waste his time on any frivolous matters. Very clearly, you want documentation. He answered, and that is exactly what the minister answered. He was brought before the House with clearly defined terms. He presented you the documentation.
Some.
Selectively.
Well,
It is a choice. It is a choice. It's an opinion. You are proffering an opinion. You are not the Pope speaking ex cathedra. What you say that some of the documentation is some selective. It's your opinion, Dr.
And then which other thing did he address?
The second thing is they wanted to talk about the participants.
yes.
We spoke every participant will be in the documentation. In any case, it has been established
But
that
the minister said he couldn't reveal the participants.
Okay. On the side,
Yeah.
side. It may not be in the, is it a statement or question?
Yes,
It's a
that's
statement.
Is that a statement?
the
it's
title
a
of
statement. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a statement. The statement, yeah.
Okay. Now, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the rationale for the minority wording the statement this way
Yeah.
was to bring out their fear or perhaps their trepidation or
Yeah.
their concerns about some level of familiarity between the minister in his life as a business person
Yeah.
and the knowledge he has about the relationship
Yeah.
with the various players. That's Franklin Templeton especially.
Yeah.
And then also a director of Franklin Templeton,
Yeah.
who also seems to have some level of association with him or any of his interests.
Can I?
Of course, it's not
You
here.
are proffering an
Enterprise group.
opinion. Is that the reality, Dr. Park? Is that
but
No,
we have-
no,
we
please.
have always made it very
let-
clear.
No, it's okay, please.
Let me state.
Let's not make an argument in vacuum because we know that there are premises on
All
which
right.
the minister has been. Of
You
course, this
see-
one is the official wedding, but we know that they are trying to whether they can tease out.
So the real problem they have is that there's a company called Franklin Templeton who has a director, and the director in his previous life has had some dealings with the current minister of. I want to establish here, is Franklin Templeton new to
our jurisdiction,
our jurisdiction?
especially concerning our finances.
Especially concerning mostly with
The bond.
medium to long-term bonds.
No.
Probably when we go
According
back,
to information available.
probably
no.
when we go back, we will find out that when you used to issue long-term bonds, did you ever do a 10, 15? No, I don't
No.
think so.
15.
When you used to
we would
do,
have done 15.
when you used to do
Well,
all your
5,
bonds, 5 to 7 years, it will turn out that it was this same Frank Templeton who was buying 80 or probably 90% of it.
They are disputes. They say he never bought up to the sums.
Be that as it
or
may.
the percentage.
Be that as it may, let us go back to find
This
out.
one they found
But
this.
I am saying,
they found this intriguing because
I
he
am
bought
saying-
95%.
I am
Right.
saying. You
And
see,
they also found
what
it
must be
intriguing because the
what must be
bidding process time was cut short. Well,
I
not
say-
cut short.
I
no,
say-
no, not,
I say,
not,
I say,
not,
I say,
not illegally, but
I say, can we establish whether a law was broken?
okay,
That for me is cardinal.
okay, end there.
You should do it 4 hours. You should do it 48 hours. What does the law state?
Is it within a time frame?
Was it within the time frame?
Yeah.
You know, yesterday I was amazed at some of my colleagues on the other side.
In the minority.
What we need, another thing they wanted to find out was the currency. This bond was issued in cedis. It is a CD bond. Frank Templeton, when he was coming to buy, Frank Templeton has no access to cedis. Frank Templeton has access to US dollars. So when he was coming, he carried US dollars and brought it. If a German bond, a German finance house had bought, they would have paid the equivalent in euro.
Or even if Ghana was buying a German floated bond, we'll have to go and buy in
I,
euros.
for my life, you know, you have
But we'll
bought,
take our cedis.
you have
Is
bought,
that the import of what you are trying to say?
you have bought the same thing from Frank Templeton. Let us ask, if they were not being mischievous, let us ask, when you bought your bonds, Dr. Apak, in 2015 and 2016, and Frank Templeton bought and was bringing the money to you, did he bring CDs? Didn't he bring dollars? I mean,
Do I get to respond?
Yeah.
what is this?
Well,
okay.
look, we can decide to trivialize what we consider to be
Is
very
it being
important
trivial?
matter.
I think
It
that
is.
rather you try to.
I don't think
It is.
you are
It
rather
is.
trivializing this matter.
It is. This is a very important matter of national interest. And we can go back to history and project into the future. Our core concerns still remain relevant. We will continue to pursue them and ask them within the context of any legitimate space and entities available to help
That's
us get
okay.
to the bottom of this. It is simple. Whether Franklin Templeton has been buying Ghanaian bonds or not is not our concern.
Really?
It is about the relationship between that entity and the current finance minister. And the fact that we believe this bond and the processes surrounding it were not transparent.
Okay.
Well, we all know that the chief government legal advisor is on public record indicating that she had no knowledge about this. Do you mean to tell me that this was done
Point of order.
without the approval
Point of order.
of cabinet? Do you mean to tell me that Ghana enters into this type of transaction where we are paying this much? The interest alone is going to be in excess of 6 million. By the time this thing is retired, we are at 6 billion. By the time this thing is retired, we will not pay less than 9 billion. And you don't think that we should try to find out whether this doesn't have implications for us and the future and the entities involved and their relationships?
Dr. Park.
That one entity that has been established to have a linkage in the recent past to the personal business interests of the current finance minister gets to buy over 95%, and you think this is okay?
Okay.
We have to ask these questions.
The director from Franklin Templeton, was he appointed onto the board of the enterprise group for which the business interest of the current finance minister has a 32% shares or 36% share? Was he on recommendation of his shareholding capacity?
Now, how will I know?
But you're making.
I'm not
all
a
these
member of that organization.
But so why are you making all those insinuations?
Then these are the reasons why we have asked for the full complement so that we can satisfy ourselves.
And I've been asking this question. It looks as if that the minority is dancing around the issue.
Absolutely.
No, but we have been very
well,
straightforward.
please,
Absolutely.
please, without any concrete evidence, but
Absolutely.
it's
Speculation.
It's hinging its
Speculation.
its argument, thinking that there could be a bait which the finance minister could catch, and then will fall for it and bring whatever evidence that you need, etc. You don't think that is implausible or plausible?
We are working on it. We have
Because
stated that we don't
because
believe that it
if
was
you have
transparent.
if you have evidence of phone records of some transactions that have been made,
Inside
perhaps
trading.
no,
No, but
email and all
that
then you can be
we are not
specific.
going to tell you.
Then you can be. Do you
No, I'm
have
not
them?
going to tell you what we have and what we don't have.
Okay.
We have
All
made
right.
a request. The minister has been obliged.
All right, let's move
He
on.
has done what he thinks. You know.
You are still not satisfied.
Quite clearly not.
So
Very well.
Okay, but you petitioned the SEC of the US.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean there are all kinds of processes ongoing simultaneously, and it's not,
former
it's
chief
not, it's not done yet.
The
There's more
YEA.
action to come on this.
The
one.
YEA. That's the youth.
I think.
You want to have a bite
Yeah,
before
yeah,
we
yeah. I think that frankly, this is wasting everybody's time. I think that this country faces enormous challenges.
Well,
like
they've raised an issue.
paying debt for several years to come.
Apart, we were paying debts anyway. We were paying debts. You started, when we used to do Eurobonds, we used to do it for 10 years. You took a Eurobond for 15 years at 10 point, almost 11%. You people.
But you said you won't borrow, so we are borrowing.
But we are not borrowing. We are only reprofiling.
You say you are not going to pay a dime on it. When we know that you are going to pay.
I say we
about
have not
6
borrowed.
billion in interest.
You see, this is what you need to. We are not borrowing. We are only trying to make it better.
And
You used to borrow at 26. Somebody has come and he has borrowed at 19, and you have a problem.
The two of you, the point has
But
been
you
made.
see,
Oh,
the point
I
is
thought you
this.
had done.
No, the point is this. You have taken the matter to the gold standard. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission. It's a gold standard.
I agree.
Keep it there. And let us have some peace and move this country forward.
Nobody has said we shouldn't have peace.
In September, we want to provide free secondary school education.
But should that prevent us from raising concerns if
I
we have
said
any?
no. I said that I am conceding. I premise my statement by saying that you have taken this matter to the top cop in the world. Why do you want to worry the sheriff in the little village?
Well,
In the little county.
Yes.
All right.
Why do you want to worry the sheriff?
the sheriff has his own jurisdiction.
You have taken the matter to the gold standard. I think that this country needs some peace so that we can focus on finding money to send every child who goes through BEC to secondary school.
It's okay. This campaigning,
We
you're
want to
campaigning.
Find money. Who
We,
means you
we
don't
want
have
to,
money? And
we
you-
want
you
to
promise
find money.
Let's move
So
on. The
that,
YEA.
Dr. Park, we will give you your constituency
Mr.
$1
Chemantine
million.
Ejako.
Then you can do some real local infrastructure
Mr.
so
Chemantine
that the
Ejako.
people in Fumbisi don't need to come to Accra before they see
But be transparent in the way you
An
find
internal
money.
audit conducted by the Youth Employment Agency has revealed widespread corruption running into millions of cities. And apparently, the draft report of the audit indicates payment of unearned allowances to beneficiaries. And in all, we're told that 20 million Ghana cedis has been saved. Ghost names, etc. As I have to start with you, sir. These are stemming from perhaps the level of management exhibited in the previous administration. And it looks like an indictment.
Well, thank you, Roland. Whilst I agree to discuss this topic because I know a thing or two about
You do?
what we did to address these sorts of issues, I reject your premise. Quite clearly, the YEA is a public institution. You know it has an act and an ally backing it. And of course, this was as a result of the challenges that that institution faced. And as part of the reforms and to give it the needed legal backing, when we were still in charge of managing the affairs of this country, the needed steps were taken to give it such a backing. You are also aware that most of the staff that I know of who work here were recruited by through the Public Services Commission, which means that they were public servants. And so if the new CEO has seen it fit to undertake some investigation and says that they have a report which suggests what you have indicated, it is only a symptom of the challenges we face in the public sector and should not be tied to a particular government. I say so because at our time, you know fully well, similar investigations were conducted in some other institutions. And of course, we can always cite National Service as an example. And I know of the issue of ghost names that we're also eliminating from the payroll system. The Ministry of Education, for example, We even know of the audit that we also did around the National Health Insurance, and in a very short space of time, you know, we're able to save the state in excess of 20 million, you know, which was the basis for the introduction. We had tried to introduce the capitation program, which was resisted. So, you know, we need to admit that the public sector, state institutions over the years quite clearly have left a lot more to be desired in terms of their responsibility and the utilization of the resources of the people on their behalf. And so I don't have any problem with audits to uncover wrongdoing, but it must be done in a way that would, one, not only ensure that we identify truly those who have done wrong, but that identification and investigation should also be conducted by the appropriate state institutions. And this, penchant or, you know, eagerness of the current government to throw out ongoing investigations and this, that, is not helpful. But it is clear there is an agenda in place. You know, their campaign largely dwelled on perceived corruption when we were the stewards of this country. And it has always been like that. If you look at almost every major campaign, the fight against corruption is always an issue. So now that they have won, they are so eager to throw out whatever they can grasp to try and justify that allegation that they have made. But mere allegations of corruption does not prove that an act of corruption has occurred until the proper procedures are initiated by the proper institutions to bring to book those who are being accused as having engaged in this. So I don't have a problem, but I am only hoping and praying that what we are hearing is indeed the case, and that it is motivated by the national interest
and not
to do what is right,
and not
in the interest of Mother Ghana,
and
not the partisan interest
You
of trying to
you have an inkling.
to give a dog a bad name.
Do you have an inkling that's what all this is about?
Well, we wait to see.
Okay.
But the eagerness with which and the frequency that we are seeing, without any solid, substantive, actionable information by the requisite state institutions, makes one to wonder whether this is not motivated by the current political status quo.
All right.
Well, it makes interesting reading what the former CEO is saying.
Yes.
He's admitting that, yeah, there's some hanky-panky has gone on, but he's thinking that it probably predates him and post-dates him. Let me say that it is an unfortunate specter that we continue to have this thing about payroll fraud and I think it has continued for a little bit too long. In the recent past, indeed, we'll have to ask ourselves, even during the time of the NDC, there were so many challenges with this, and it became one chief executive will go in and come out, and another chief executive. I believe that Vincent, must have gone in and come out twice. Okay, when he left national service, there was a bomb about all of this again. Okay, in your period, when you were there, these things happened. So what is the politics? Who is motivated by politics? Have we all forgotten the issue with national service?
No, but I have not defended the action.
All right.
I have not said that it is okay for.
So there is a new CEO.
To defraud
it is
the state.
important that he must find out, and these are his findings. Why do you want to link it with politics? Me, what I'll say is that it remains a draft report. I want to see a final report.
That's right.
Okay. It might change, it might not change. But the fact remains that these things happen.
I have not argued against that.
All right.
I haven't.
And
I have not doubted it.
Yeah.
It's just that
And I'm saying that I'm
properly
saying that
complete.
even the chief executive that was there is admitting that this is to all intents and purposes true.
But this is still happening. Actually, do you know the CEO said something? Just forgive me. The CEO indicated that after management had made a decision for the headcount, reports getting back to him indicates that in some of the districts, the very same ghost that they were seeking to expunge were being re-imputed, were being allowed to be headcounted
By their own
to
people.
get back in the system. So he even indicated that action, punitive action, will be taken.
So you see, your trajectory about somebody trying to put somebody down for political purposes, you yourself, you are saying one thing and ending in another way.
I agree.
Look,
I said he should complete the work and then bring the full complement.
There are challenges if you take our national budget. The first call on our national budget is compensation. And compensation takes away so much of it, okay, of our tax revenue, that we are virtually left with nothing. Compensation and interest repayments that they created for us. Huge interest repayments. That's the previous government created for
The
us.
monies were used for developmental purposes.
Where is it?
Why are you not seeing the roads
So,
in the hospitals?
It is important. I commend the CEO, the new CEO, and I just want to say that just as we are finding out today, I want him to be firm. I want him to be very, very firm, so that when he has left one day, the same kind of things will not be said about him. It is not good. I believe that people must work and earn their keep. Okay. I must admit that a lot of these organizations that have been created, the notion of the politicians and those that follow, particularly the followership, is that it is job for them. Even if I don't work, they can put my name on the payroll and get some money.
Yeah.
I think that notion is there. It may be notional. Okay. But we must work very hard to take it away. It is not right. It does not help all of us as a people. People must earn their keep. We must create opportunities for people to wake up in the morning and have a shower and wear their clothes and go to work. Nobody probably is earning a real living wage. Nobody. Dr. Park and myself may not be.
You are not paid well.
I'm using my words. I'm choosing my words advisably.
Amolia.
Okay. A lot of
Roland, you are trying to play mischief.
a lot of all of us may not be earning, but for me,
I mean, deservedly, you say.
at least, if governments, and I say government as a continuum, makes attempts to provide a livelihood for people, we should not bastardize it this way. Okay.
But Roland, just a last point on this. In all honesty, I think that technology certainly would serve us well in definitely helping to
Eliminate
save
some
the
of
system from this form of leakage. These are leakages.
You mean technology cannot be manipulated?
Well, obviously it is, but what that also means is that we may have to take another look at our recruitment processes. You understand?
Yeah, true.
I mean, some level of personal integrity and honesty must come into play. Because if you are putting people in charge of managing resources for the benefit of people, and they would allow persons who don't even work to be put onto the payroll to get a salary, I mean, then we are in serious trouble. So it all boils down also to our personal integrity and our willingness to do what is right.
if we want to take this argument, if we want to expand this argument, look, even in the so-called developed countries, in the most advanced countries, sometimes I hear when we have challenges with national health insurance and people are saying there's fraud in the national health insurance. In the national health insurance in the UK.
Yeah.
That has been going on since 1948. There are major challenges with fraudulent claims. Because we are human beings, some of these things will happen.
People will try to manipulate this.
Yeah, but sometimes in our case, I'm sorry to say, sometimes it is like it is deliberate. It is like it is sanctioned, and that is what worries me.
It's just not out of the norm again. It's just
No,
something
it's
that is an everyday.
You know, it's the statisticians will tell you that everything is like a dumbbell. Okay, you will always find a fringe element. In my expectation is that there will be a fringe situation, but in our situation here, it is beginning to look like the norm.
Normal.
But
so
disconcerting.
I think we need a whole program for that.
All right,
because,
I think so.
You know, when people
Because
engage
in every sphere of our life,
fraudulent criminal activity and procure wealth, they are called smart. Or you're fast too. You have noticed. Sometimes you're fast too. What is fast about engaging in fraud or acts of criminality?
okay.